if it's okay, can we take a quick step back and just, I know we have a lot of people that have asked questions about pitching before.
Oh.
And I'm wondering if you could kind of walk us through the successful pitch you had with Disney and how that went and what you did in the actual pitch.
Yeah, well, okay, so pitching it's so much of it I feel like is like a marathon run. Like, I think that people, maybe get a vision where it's like, you like stroll into the studio and you're like, here's my genius idea. And they're like, here's some money, make that show. It's not like,
sack with the dollars.
Yeah, it's so not like that. It's like, you come in, you pitch to, there's levels of executives, right? It's like video game bosses, right? So you start with the lowest person, and again, I don't want low to sound like...
It's not a value judgment.
It's not a value judgment. It's more like, hey, they're your first level boss.
Right.
And if they think it's cool, then usually they'll give you a couple of notes and thoughts, and then you come pitch to them again. And then if they're like, by the way, there's months in between these pitches usually. So then you come back again and pitch again. And then if they think it's like ready for their boss, then you go pitch it to the next person. And then you pitch it to that person, and then they have some notes and thoughts, and they want you to go think about some things, or try changing a few things, or try like, or you could be like, no, actually, this is the intention. It's not like you have to make the changes. But it's more like, it's a conversation, and it's a slow-moving thing.
So you have to get through
dates. Yes, and then, and then it's a couple months later, you have another meeting, and then, So
what did you prepare for the pitch? Did you have a pitch deck?
Yes, yeah. So I like to do, okay, so what I like to do is almost like a little mini book. With
like a little story
with a lot of nice images, and there's something sort of interesting with TV as opposed to like feature and stuff. So TV animation, and look, these are not hard rules. None of this is like a hard rule. This is the only way it is. But I would say most TV shows still are, and especially when I was pitching, in 2007 and whatever, it's all about your characters. The most important thing is having interesting, fun characters that you're going to want to see over multiple episodes. It's not like a movie where like the plot is like your number one thing. No, your characters are the number one thing.
Good point, yeah.
So generally what I would do is like, here's a nice picture, here's a movie poster of like what the thing is. Okay, with the title. Turn the page. Here's like a short sentence of what it is, Star Butterfly is a magical princess from another dimension who comes to Earth as a foreign exchange student, where she's, learning how to, use her new wand that she's terrible at or whatever. Just a nice, simple, like, here's the thing. Premise. Yeah, premise. Thank you. That's the right term. So then you turn the page, and then here's Star Butterfly, and here's like a whole paragraph about her, she's impulsive, and she's girly, but she, like, wears a dress, but will kick ass, and, just all the stuff about her. Then, here's Marco Diaz, and here's all his info. And then here, and this is an important thing too, here's the Star and Marco page. Oh, my earring fell off. which I, would have never, I never thought Starco would be a thing, but that has definitely become a thing. But yeah, so here's the Star and Marco page, where it's like, here's how their friendship works. This is why they meet each other. This is why you want to see them as characters.
Cool. So how they interact with each other.
How they interact with each other. That is your number one most important thing, And then like, here's Ponyhead. And this is how her and Star will work together. Your most important thing is like, and of course you're not going to be able to get all of that across on these little pages, and a lot of that you're going to have to figure out at a certain point, but you got to kind of try. You have to help somebody else see your vision. Yeah. And I think a lot of illustrations can help. Yeah.
You have to communicate visually with these executives, I'm sure.
Yeah,
they
because
need to see what it's going to look like.
Because they have to see the future that you're presenting them. Because like, you can't literally do every episode for them when you're doing a pitch. But it's like, I can see how these characters relationship, and like, I find when I pitch, I like to give them enough of the seeds where they start developing a concept for themselves too. Yeah. And it's just like, that's a really cool idea if these characters play off that way, and you write that down later, and just like pitch it back to them.
No.
How much of the series did you have planned out when you went into the pitch, or was it something that everything was written after you pitched?
Well, a lot of it developed over time, and a lot of it, man, it's funny. So this is kind of a funny pitching story too. And again, like, I'm just always happy that like, I always feel like I stuck to the things that were important, but I changed the things that weren't as important to me, and I took the good ideas when they were there, and it's like, these are all things, sometimes it's hard, right? You know, I think a lot of people, like, they go in and they're like, this is my vision, and if they don't like it, like, it's going to be this big argument, or it's going to be this big, I mean, look, these people
it's a bit of a negotiation.
It's a negotiation, and, like, think about, these companies are going to put millions and millions of dollars into this, like you have to remember that it's like, you like I couldn't make Star on my own. I mean, I guess I could make webcomics or something, but I couldn't, like, make this TV show in this universe. It's like, you need their help, and they have something that they want out of this too, you know. So it's this back and forth, it's this exchange. So and I've told this story quite a few times, because so I went through all these, you know, probably 6 or 8 months of pitch to this exec, pitch to that exec, this thing, that thing, this thing, and then it was like, cool, you're in development, like, we want to buy this idea to develop it, not like we're gonna make a show yet, but like, we want to put you in our roster of stuff we're working on, right? Yeah. So we want you to meet, like, Eric Coleman, right? He's in charge of the TVA animation. And I was like, cool, am I pitching to him? And they were like, no, he knows what the idea is, he really likes it. Okay. I'm like, awesome, okay, cool. So it's like, you're just gonna meet him. So I go and I sit down for this meeting, and then the you know, exec under him comes in right before the meeting. He's like, yeah, so we really love this idea, but could she be older, and could the magic powers be real? Because my very first concept of Star was she, and again, I mean, this was pre-Adventure Time. I was pitching this, right? Yeah. It was in her head. She was me as a 4th grader, right? She was like this girl who wanted so badly to be Sailor Moon and to have these magic powers, but they weren't actually real, right? But her character was the same, and she had the hearts in the cheeks, and she was like very like the same kind of energetic character, but the concept was different. So he comes in and he says this, and I'm sort of like, oh, that's a completely different thing. Yeah. And then Eric Coleman comes and sits down, and he goes, so what's this about?
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
I know.
So he's never heard of it.
He didn't know. They were like picking it up, but he didn't, whatever. So
that's crazy.
That's heavy.
Then on the spot, I was kind of trying to turn, and I was just like, oh god, this is...
You had to pitch it, but with these tweaks. Is that what happened?
Like, kind of on the spot. I mean, it was a mess. It was a disaster. The end of the meeting, he was sort of like, well, you got nice drawings. I was like, shit. So then I went home and I completely rewrote it, right? And that's when, like, the other dimension, and that's actually where Marco came. I had an earlier sort of version of Marco, but that's when he became the, you know, oh, she's a foreign exchange student from the dimension, and that's why she has these power, and she's living on Earth, and da-da-da. Basically, the whole current show came from that week, going home and just being like, I don't want to blow my chance, and just, like, rewriting stuff. And I brought that in, and they were like, cool. Now, of course, that's not everything in the show, because then this amazing thing happens when your show gets picked up, is like, you go into this very complicated thing of having a whole crew of people. You know, you're not making this on your own anymore, and you've got 50 people on your show. And, you know, I think in the best of scenarios, and I think Star was that, I had some very wonderful people that were coming up with great characters and ideas, and just made the world so much bigger than I could ever make it on my own, you know, and that was, I mean, it's been incredible.
Should I do the intro again, or are we good to go?
No.
Great.
Oh, there we go.
Let's go.
So there was an intro, and then there was about 45 seconds to a minute of awkwardness. That will serve as our musical intro today, just us rambling about nothing. Now, here we are.